Okay, let's talk meal planning. Meal planning is one of those things that can be incredibly overwhelming and really hard at the beginning, but it will get easier, I promise. Um, the first thing that I do when I start meal planning and prepping is I think about the schedule for the week. I've got three kids. They range in age from 12 to 1 and almost 2. Um, so we're a family of five and we're incredibly busy and we have activities and we have places to go and we have things to do. And so I want to make sure that the plan that I have for the week will fit into our schedule. Um, this is a lifestyle change. You have to make sure that what you're doing fits into your lifestyle or it doesn't work. And so I make sure that I plan out my meals based on my calendar and my schedule. So that way, if there's a night that we have to be somewhere fast, I can plan on sandwiches that night and make sure that I have the containers that I need to be able to eat with my family and be able to do the activities that we need to do. The other thing that I want to tell you about when you are starting this, when I first started this, I'm a culinary teacher, so I have a culinary background. I teach kids how to do this all the time. Um, that may not be your background, and that's okay. When you first start this, it might be overwhelming, and I think the first week I can tend to be kind of perfectionistic, and so I think the first week that I tried to do a meal plan, it took me like 3 or 4 hours to plan out the entire week of what I was going to eat, when I was going to eat it. But you know what? I was that determined that I was not going to fail at this and that I was going to succeed and see a change that I was willing to put forth the 3 to 4 hours. You don't have to do that. If you need to do that, take it one day at a time. Plan your next day before it happens so that you can make sure that you are successful and that you have all of your containers in and that you have everything you need to be able to eat correctly for that day. I like to go grocery shopping on Thursday or Friday night. Nobody else is there, and I tend to be able to go by myself because my husband can be home from work, and so that's always kind of a nice little treat. And then that gives me Saturday morning to kind of do my meal prep, cleaning the house, that kind of stuff based on our schedule and what we have going on for the weekend. Um, Try to have meal prep be a family event. We'll play music and give everybody a job. And we have cut meal prep down from, again, about 4 or 5 hours a week to under two. Um, Two being the max, especially if I'm like making something that has to be cooked ahead of time. This past week, I think we meal prepped for maybe an hour, hour and a half. And my daughter was peeling and cutting carrots. My son was making marinades for meat, making meatballs. My husband was helping out. My baby was in a high chair and was just kind of watching us and learning. And we gave him a little plastic knife so he could chop up some carrots too. And it's become a lifestyle that I'm teaching my children, and that's very important to me. So don't be afraid to get other people involved. If people around you are not supportive, that's okay too. Play some music, fix yourself a hot cup of tea or coffee, and get your meal prep done because it's going to make the rest of your week go so much smoother. So when I think about, so those are kind of my little tips and tricks. When I think about this coming week, I will be starting my fourth cycle of 21 Day Fix. I will have completed 3 cycles this Sunday. And so I'm going to do this right along with you. I will be doing day 1 just like you are. But the thing that I think about with this schedule for this week is I go back to work. Like I said, I'm a high school teacher. And so my first contract day is this Wednesday. And so my family is going to go through a little bit of an adjustment period with mom heading back to work. So I want to keep that in mind as I'm meal planning for this week. Make sure that Wednesday has a very easy, ready to go dinner that's going to work for everybody. Same thing with Thursday because going back to work is kind of a shock to the whole system. Okay, so how do we actually get started with this? Step 1, start in your pantry, fridge, freezer. What do you have on hand that is not that is going to go bad if you don't use it up? That's where I usually start. Also, I like to try to stay on budget. We usually budget under $200 for the week for our family of five to eat all organic, all clean, no preservatives, no nothing for the entire week. And we've been very successful in doing that. Then, after I see what kind of needs to be used up, I'll ask for opinions. I'll ask my son what sounds good to you. I'll ask Lily what sounds good to you, and kind of try to fix some of their favorites as well. Might be a version of their favorite that has some little special surprises ground up in it. But they get used to it, and they've been very supportive. The other thing that I do is I check on Pinterest, and there's lots of 21 day fix ideas on there. I've made a board that you are more than welcome to access that has lots of recipes that are pinned. I also use my cookbook called Fixate that's available on my Beachbody website. It has a lot of 21 day fix specific recipes that are in it. Autumn Calabrese, who's the creator of 21 day fix, is actually the author of that. So that's a great resource. Another great resource is called 100 Days of Real Food, and that's just a blog that I follow. She's wonderful. She believes in eating clean, and she has lots of recipes on her website as well, and it's 100daysofrealfood.com. Okay, so when I actually fill out my meal plan, I made a meal planning sheet that I've been using for 12 weeks now, and I think I have it tweaked to where it's pretty darn easy to fill out, and I will actually show you how to fill one out. But what I do is I plan my dinners first because I want to make sure that I have the containers to use at dinner time with my family to make sure that I'm only fixing one dinner. I don't want to fix multiple dinners. I'm not a short order cook, neither should you be. So make sure that you are fixing things that your family will eat. Make sure that you have your containers so that you can eat with them as well. The other thing that I do immediately is I add in my Shakeology because Shakeology is automatically a red. And then I always add spinach to it because I'm not a huge veggie lover to just sit down and eat an entire green container of veggies. So I get a red and a green out of the way every day, no matter what, with my Shakeology. Then I think about what leftovers are in the fridge that I can add in for lunches. And then last but not least, breakfast and snacks. Then along the side, you'll see there's some colored boxes that you can just kind of check off as you go to make sure that you have all your containers accounted for. Let me show you right now how to actually fill out our meal planning sheet.